She was ordered to stay back, support role, they called it. But when the surveillance drone went dark over hostile terrain and no one could trace it, she didn't wait. She tracked the signal manually, hiked into the zone alone, and found it, buried in sand, damaged but intact. She hauled it back, piece by piece, while evading detection. The drone held crucial enemy coordinates. Her recovery? It turned the mission around. The one they left behind became the one who brought everything back. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If you enjoy stories about individuals who go beyond their assigned duties to accomplish what others thought impossible, consider subscribing for more content that celebrates the courage to act when action matters most. The crisp autumn air carried the sound of ceremonial drums across Arlington National Cemetery as Sergeant First Class Rebecca Torres carefully folded the American flag with the precise movements that had been drilled into her during countless honor guard ceremonies. At 1,100 hours on Veterans Day, the nation's most solemn military cemetery was hosting a memorial service for fallen soldiers from the recent conflict in Syria, and Torres had been assigned to the flag-folding detail, a position that kept her in the background while senior officers and distinguished guests occupied the prominent positions that would be featured in news coverage and official photographs of the ceremony. Torres moved with the measured precision that characterized all military ceremonies, her dress uniform immaculate, and her bearing reflecting the 8 years of military service that had taken her from enlisted private to non-commissioned officer with specialized training in intelligence operations and tactical reconnaissance. However, her assignment to the flag-folding detail reflected the persistent challenges she faced in gaining recognition for capabilities that extended far beyond ceremonial duties to include technical expertise and operational experience that could contribute significantly to complex military operations requiring innovative solutions and individual initiative. The memorial service was being conducted with full military honors for 12 soldiers who had been killed during a reconnaissance mission in northern Syria when their convoy encountered a sophisticated improvised explosive device that had been planted by enemy forces using intelligence about American patrol routes and timing that suggested extensive surveillance and planning capabilities. The attack had not only resulted in casualties, but had also raised questions about enemy intelligence capabilities and the effectiveness of American counter-surveillance measures in hostile operational environments. General Patricia Hayes, the commanding general responsible for special operations throughout the Middle East theater, delivered the memorial address that honored the fallen soldiers while acknowledging the ongoing challenges faced by American forces operating in environments where enemy forces possessed sophisticated capabilities and extensive local knowledge that could be used to conduct effective attacks against American personnel and equipment. These soldiers died in service to their country while conducting the kind of dangerous reconnaissance missions that provide intelligence essential to protecting American interests and defeating terrorist organizations that threaten global security. General Hayes declared to the assembled mourners, who included family members of the fallen soldiers, senior military officers, and government officials responsible for military policy and operations. Torres listened to the general's remarks while continuing her ceremonial duties, but her attention was also focused on the technical aspects of the memorial service that included live television coverage and sophisticated camera equipment that was being used to broadcast the ceremony to military personnel stationed worldwide and families of deployed soldiers who could not attend the service in person. The television coverage was being coordinated by a joint military-civilian production team that included experienced broadcast journalists and military public affairs specialists who were responsible for ensuring that the ceremony received appropriate media attention while maintaining the dignity and solemnity that characterized military memorial services for fallen personnel. Colonel Michael Rodriguez, the public affairs officer responsible for coordinating media coverage of the memorial service, had planned every aspect of the television broadcast to ensure maximum impact while highlighting the sacrifice and service of the fallen soldiers and the ongoing commitment of American military forces to missions that required personal courage and professional competence under dangerous conditions. We want this ceremony to remind the American people of the courage and dedication of our military personnel who serve in dangerous locations around the world, Rodriguez explained to the television production crew during the pre-ceremony briefing that established camera positions and broadcast protocols for the memorial service. As the ceremony progressed through the traditional military rituals that honored fallen soldiers and provided comfort to grieving families, Torres continued her flag-folding duties while observing the media coverage that was capturing different aspects of the memorial service for broadcast to audiences who needed to understand the human cost of military operations in hostile environments. The television cameras were positioned to capture the formal aspects of the ceremony, including the general's address, the presentation of flags to family members, and the military honors that acknowledged the service and sacrifice of the fallen soldiers. However, the camera operators were also documenting the human elements of the ceremony that showed the emotional impact of military service on families and fellow soldiers who mourned the loss of comrades and friends. During the flag presentation portion of the ceremony, one of the television cameras malfunctioned, creating a gap in coverage during a critical moment when flags were being presented to the families of fallen soldiers. The camera operator attempted to quickly resolve the technical problem, but the malfunction appeared to be serious enough to require professional repair that would not be completed during the ceremony. Torres noticed the camera malfunction and recognized that the technical problem was affecting the media coverage that was essential for ensuring that the sacrifice of the fallen soldiers received appropriate recognition and that their families' grief was witnessed by the broader American public who needed to understand the cost of military service in dangerous operational environments. Without hesitation, Torres stepped away from her ceremonial duties and approached the camera operator to offer assistance with the technical problem that was compromising media coverage of the memorial service. Her background in communications and technical equipment gave her confidence that she might be able to identify and resolve the malfunction that was preventing proper camera operation. "I have technical experience with communications equipment. Would you like me to take a look at the camera?" Torres offered quietly, recognizing that her intervention might not be appropriate, but also understanding that the media coverage was important for honoring the fallen soldiers and supporting their families. The camera operator, under pressure to restore coverage quickly during the ongoing ceremony, accepted Torres' offer of assistance and explained the technical symptoms that had preceded the camera malfunction. The camera was working fine, then suddenly lost all power. "I've checked the obvious connections, but I can't identify the problem." Torres quickly examined the camera equipment and identified a loose connection in the power supply system that had been caused by vibration from the ceremonial artillery salute that had been fired earlier in the ceremony. Her technical diagnosis proved correct, and she was able to restore camera operation within minutes, enabling resumption of media coverage during the critical flag presentation portion of the memorial service. However, as Torres was completing the camera repair, the television camera operator inadvertently captured footage of her military decorations and ribbons that revealed the extent of her military experience and combat service that had not been apparent from her ceremonial role in the flag-folding detail. The camera footage showed multiple combat ribbons, specialized training badges, and commendation medals that indicated extensive operational experience and recognition for exceptional performance under challenging conditions. The television director, monitoring the camera feeds from the production control room, noticed the footage of Torres' military decorations and realized that her background appeared to be significantly more extensive than would be typical for someone assigned to ceremonial duties rather than prominent speaking roles or recognition positions during the memorial service. "Camera 3, can you get more footage of that soldier who just fixed your camera? Her ribbons suggest significant combat experience that might be worth documenting," the director instructed, recognizing that Torres' story might provide human interest content that would enhance the memorial service coverage. The camera operator followed the director's instructions and captured additional footage of Torres as she returned to her ceremonial duties, documenting not only her military decorations, but also her professional competence and bearing that reflected extensive military experience and specialized training that seemed inconsistent with her background assignment to ceremonial duties. Colonel Rodriguez, monitoring the television coverage from the Media Coordination Center, also noticed the footage of Torres and began researching her background to understand why someone with apparent extensive combat experience and specialized training had been assigned to ceremonial duties rather than prominent recognition positions during the memorial service. "Give me the personnel file for Sergeant First Class Torres. Based on her ribbons, she appears to have significant operational experience that might warrant different recognition during this ceremony," Rodriguez instructed his staff, recognizing that Torres' background might represent an oversight in ceremony planning or assignment decisions. The research into Torres' background revealed an exceptional military record that included multiple combat deployments, specialized training in reconnaissance and intelligence operations, and several commendations for exceptional performance under dangerous conditions that demonstrated leadership capabilities and technical competence far beyond what might be expected from someone assigned to ceremonial support duties. Most significantly, Torres' personnel file revealed that she had been instrumental in recovering critical intelligence during the same Syrian operation that had resulted in the casualties being honored during the memorial service. Her individual initiative in recovering a downed surveillance drone had provided intelligence that led to identification and destruction of the enemy cell responsible for the attack that killed the 12 soldiers being memorialized. This soldier should be receiving recognition, not folding flags, Rodriguez observed as he reviewed Torres' role in the Syrian operation and her contribution to subsequent military operations that had successfully targeted the enemy forces responsible for the attack that had caused the casualties being honored during the memorial service. The television coverage of Torres' flag repair assistance had inadvertently revealed that someone with exceptional military credentials and direct connection to the operations being memorialized had been assigned to background ceremonial duties rather than receiving appropriate recognition for her contributions to the mission that the memorial service was intended to honor. General Hayes, who was monitoring media coverage of the memorial service, also noticed the footage of Torres and requested immediate briefing about her background and role in the Syrian operations that were being commemorated during the ceremony. Why is someone who was involved in these operations assigned to ceremonial duties rather than receiving appropriate recognition? The answer revealed administrative oversights and communication gaps that had resulted in Torres being assigned to ceremonial duties despite her direct involvement in the operations being memorialized and her exceptional contributions to subsequent missions that had avenged the fallen soldiers and protected other American personnel from similar attacks. Sir, it appears that her role in the drone recovery operation was not properly communicated to ceremony planning personnel. Her assignment to flag-folding duties was based on her current unit assignment rather than her operational contributions, explained Major Sarah Chun, the aide responsible for coordinating ceremony assignments and recognition procedures. General Hayes immediately recognized that Torres' assignment represented a significant oversight that needed correction during the ongoing ceremony to ensure that her contributions received appropriate recognition and that the memorial service properly honored all personnel who had contributed to the operations being commemorated. Bring Sergeant Torres to the platform immediately. She needs to be recognized for her contributions to these operations, Hayes directed, understanding that correcting the oversight during the live ceremony would provide appropriate recognition while demonstrating military commitment to acknowledging exceptional service regardless of administrative oversights. Torres was summoned from her ceremonial duties and escorted to the main platform, where General Hayes was preparing to deliver additional remarks that would acknowledge her role in the Syrian operations and provide recognition that her contributions deserved but had been overlooked during initial ceremony planning. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to recognize Sergeant First Class Rebecca Torres, whose individual courage and technical expertise during the Syrian operation being memorialized today led to recovery of critical intelligence that enabled us to identify and destroy the enemy forces responsible for attacking our personnel, Hayes announced to the assembled mourners and television audience. The unexpected recognition during the live memorial service provided Torres with the acknowledgement that her contributions deserved while demonstrating to television audiences the individual courage and professional competence that characterized American military personnel serving in dangerous operational environments around the world. Sergeant Torres' actions exemplify the courage and dedication of our military personnel, who go beyond their assigned duties to accomplish what others thought impossible, often at great personal risk and without expectation of recognition. Hayes continued, providing context for Torres' contributions that television audiences needed to understand the significance of her actions. The general's remarks detailed Torres' role in manually tracking the downed surveillance drone through hostile territory, her solo recovery mission that required technical expertise and physical courage under dangerous conditions, and her successful extraction of critical intelligence that had enabled subsequent operations against enemy forces responsible for attacking American personnel. The intelligence that Sergeant Torres recovered at great personal risk enabled us to locate and destroy the enemy cell responsible for the attack that took the lives of these 12 soldiers. Her actions not only honored their sacrifice, but also protected other American personnel from similar attacks. Hayes explained, connecting Torres' individual actions to the broader operational success that had resulted from her courage and competence. The television coverage of Torres' unexpected recognition during the memorial service provided powerful human interest content that demonstrated the individual courage and professional competence that enabled American military success in challenging operational environments, while also highlighting the importance of acknowledging exceptional service regardless of administrative oversights that might prevent appropriate recognition. Colonel Rodriguez recognized that the footage of Torres' recognition provided exceptional content for ongoing military public affairs efforts to educate American audiences about the courage and competence of military personnel serving in dangerous locations worldwide. This is exactly the kind of story that helps Americans understand what our military personnel accomplish every day in service to their country. The broadcast coverage of Torres' recognition reached military personnel stationed worldwide and families of deployed soldiers who needed to understand that individual courage and professional competence were consistently recognized and valued throughout military service, even when administrative oversights might temporarily prevent appropriate acknowledgement. Torres' response to the unexpected recognition reflected the professional humility and commitment to service that characterized exceptional military personnel who performed dangerous missions without expectation of public recognition or media attention. "I was just doing my job, sir. The real heroes are the soldiers we're honoring today who gave their lives in service to their country." Her response demonstrated the character and values that enabled exceptional military service, while providing television audiences with insight into the motivation and dedication that drove American military personnel to accomplish dangerous missions in service to national security objectives that required individual courage and professional competence under challenging conditions. The memorial service concluded with Torres participating in the final flag presentation ceremonies, but now in a position of recognition rather than background support that acknowledged her contributions to the operations being memorialized and her exceptional service record that included multiple demonstrations of courage and competence under dangerous operational conditions. The media coverage of Torres' recognition continued after the memorial service, with news organizations requesting interviews and additional information about her military service and the specific operations that had earned recognition during the live ceremony. Her story provided compelling content that helped American audiences understand the individual courage and professional competence that enabled military success in dangerous operational environments. However, Torres declined most media requests, preferring to focus on her ongoing military responsibilities rather than publicity that might detract from the memorial service's primary purpose of honoring fallen soldiers and supporting their grieving families who needed to understand that their loved one's sacrifice had meaning and purpose. The important story is the sacrifice of the soldiers we honored today, not my individual actions. I hope the coverage helps their families understand that their loved ones died in service to operations that achieved important objectives, Torres explained to Colonel Rodriguez when declining interview requests that might shift media focus away from the memorial service's primary purpose. 6 months after the memorial service, Torres received orders assigning her to advanced military education and preparation for promotion to senior non-commissioned officer positions that would utilize her operational experience and technical expertise in training and leading other military personnel facing similar challenges in dangerous operational environments. The assignment reflected recognition that Torres possessed exceptional capabilities and experience that could contribute to military effectiveness through leadership roles that utilized her operational background and demonstrated competence under challenging conditions that would prepare other personnel for successful service in similar environments. But Torres would always remember the Veterans Day Memorial Service, when television cameras inadvertently revealed her military background and led to recognition that her contributions deserved but had been overlooked during initial ceremony planning. The experience demonstrated that exceptional military service could be acknowledged and valued even when administrative oversights temporarily prevented appropriate recognition. The soldier who had been assigned to fold flags in the background had instead received recognition for extraordinary service that exemplified the courage and competence of American military personnel serving in dangerous locations worldwide, proving that exceptional contributions to military success would ultimately be acknowledged regardless of initial assignment decisions or administrative oversights that might temporarily prevent appropriate recognition. Torres' story would be included in military leadership courses as an example of how individual initiative and professional competence could contribute to mission success in ways that transcended assigned duties and organizational expectations, demonstrating that the most valuable military contributions often came from personnel who combined technical expertise with personal courage and commitment to accomplishing objectives that served broader national security interests regardless of personal risk or expectation of recognition. The lasting impact of Torres' recognition during the Veterans Day memorial service extended far beyond individual career advancement to influence how military organizations approached personnel assignment and recognition procedures, ensuring that exceptional service and operational contributions were properly acknowledged regardless of administrative oversights that might temporarily prevent appropriate recognition during formal ceremonies and public events. The policy review that followed Torres' case led to implementation of new procedures for ceremony planning that required comprehensive review of participants' service records and operational contributions to ensure that recognition assignments reflected actual military experience and contributions rather than current unit assignments or administrative convenience that might not account for exceptional service. Deserving acknowledgement. Major General Susan Davis, who directed the policy review following Torres' case, established new guidelines for military ceremonies that emphasize the importance of recognizing exceptional service and ensuring that personnel with direct connections to operations being commemorated received appropriate acknowledgement during formal events that honored military service and sacrifice. The Torres case revealed that our ceremony planning procedures sometimes failed to identify personnel whose exceptional service deserved recognition. Davis explained in her policy directive. These new procedures ensure that we properly acknowledge all personnel whose contributions to military operations merit recognition during formal ceremonies that honor service and sacrifice. The implementation of improved ceremony planning procedures required training for military public affairs personnel and ceremony coordinators who were responsible for identifying participants and ensuring that recognition assignments reflected actual service contributions rather than administrative convenience or superficial assessments that might overlook exceptional military service. Colonel Jennifer Martinez, who conducted training programs for ceremony planning personnel, emphasized the importance of thorough research and comprehensive understanding of participants' service records to ensure that exceptional contributions received appropriate recognition during formal military events. Proper ceremony planning requires understanding the complete service history of participants and ensuring that recognition assignments reflect actual contributions rather than current assignments or administrative convenience. Martinez explained to ceremony planning personnel who were learning new procedures designed to prevent oversights similar to Torres' case. The training programs established following Torres' case became standard throughout military public affairs and ceremony planning organizations, ensuring that future military events would properly acknowledge exceptional service and avoid administrative oversights that could prevent appropriate recognition for personnel whose contributions deserved acknowledgement. Torres' assignment to advanced leadership training and preparation for senior non-commissioned officer positions reflected recognition that her operational experience and demonstrated competence under challenging conditions made her valuable for training and leading other military personnel who would face similar challenges in dangerous operational environments. The leadership development program that Torres entered was designed for exceptional non-commissioned officers whose operational experience and demonstrated leadership capabilities made them suitable for senior positions requiring responsibility for training and developing other military personnel while contributing to unit effectiveness and mission accomplishment. Sergeant Major David Rodriguez, who directed the leadership development program, recognized Torres' unique combination of operational experience, technical expertise, and demonstrated courage as qualities that would make her effective in senior leadership positions requiring ability to train and inspire other military personnel. Rebecca Torres exemplifies the kind of leadership we need in senior non-commissioned officer positions, Rodriguez observed during Torres' leadership evaluation. Her operational experience, technical competence, and personal courage provide the foundation for effective leadership that can train and inspire other military personnel to achieve exceptional performance under challenging conditions. The leadership training that Torres received included advanced instruction in personnel development, unit management, and operational planning that would prepare her for senior positions requiring responsibility for multiple military personnel and complex operational assignments that demanded sophisticated leadership capabilities. Torres' performance during leadership training exceeded expectations and demonstrated her readiness for senior positions requiring advanced leadership responsibilities and the ability to develop other military personnel, while contributing to unit effectiveness and mission accomplishment in challenging operational environments. The recommendation for Torres' promotion to Master Sergeant reflected recognition that her exceptional service record and demonstrated leadership capabilities made her suitable for senior non-commissioned officer positions that required responsibility for training and developing other military personnel, while contributing to unit effectiveness and operational success. Colonel Patricia Hayes, who had commanded Torres during her operational assignments, provided strong recommendation for her promotion based on demonstrated performance under challenging conditions and leadership potential that had been evident throughout her military service. Sergeant First Class Torres has consistently demonstrated exceptional performance under challenging operational conditions and possesses the leadership capabilities needed for senior non-commissioned officer positions, Hayes wrote in her promotion recommendation. Her operational experience, technical expertise, and personal courage make her ideally suited for positions requiring responsibility for training and developing other military personnel. The promotion ceremony that recognized Torres' advancement to Master Sergeant was attended by military personnel who had served with her during operational assignments and who could attest to her exceptional performance and leadership capabilities under challenging conditions that had demonstrated her readiness for increased responsibility. Torres' assignment as senior training instructor for reconnaissance and intelligence operations reflected utilization of her operational experience and technical expertise in positions that would benefit other military personnel while contributing to overall unit effectiveness and operational success. The training programs that Torres developed for reconnaissance and intelligence personnel incorporated lessons learned from her operational experience and emphasized the importance of individual initiative, technical competence, and personal courage in accomplishing challenging missions that required exceptional performance under dangerous conditions. Master Sergeant Carlos Ramirez, who worked with Torres in developing training curricula, recognized her unique ability to combine technical instruction with practical operational guidance that prepared trainees for the realities of dangerous operational environments. Master Sergeant Torres brings a level of operational experience and practical knowledge to training programs that significantly improves preparation for personnel who will face similar challenges in actual operational environments, Ramirez observed. Her instruction combines technical competence with operational reality in ways that enhance training effectiveness. The training innovations that Torres developed became standard throughout reconnaissance and intelligence training programs, providing enhanced preparation for military personnel who would conduct similar operations requiring technical expertise, individual initiative, and personal courage under challenging conditions. Torres' participation in international training exchanges provided opportunities to share American military training methodologies with allied forces while learning from international partners who faced similar operational challenges in their respective regions and operational environments. The NATO training conference where Torres presented her training methodologies attracted military instructors from allied nations who were interested in incorporating American techniques and lessons learned into their own training programs for personnel conducting reconnaissance and intelligence operations. Master Sergeant Torres' training methodologies represent best practices that can significantly enhance training effectiveness for personnel conducting reconnaissance and intelligence operations, observed Colonel Michael Thompson, the British Army training director who participated in the NATO conference. The international recognition of Torres' training innovations led to requests for additional exchanges and collaboration with Allied military forces that wanted to incorporate her methodologies into their training programs for personnel conducting similar operations requiring technical expertise and operational competence. Torres' selection for assignment to the NATO Training Center reflected international recognition of her expertise and the value of her training methodologies for Allied forces that conducted reconnaissance and intelligence operations requiring similar capabilities and operational approaches. The NATO assignment provided Torres with opportunities to work with military personnel from multiple Allied nations while contributing to alliance training capabilities that enhanced collective security and operational effectiveness in multinational missions requiring coordination between different national military forces. The cultural exchange aspects of Torres' NATO assignment provided personal and professional development opportunities that enhanced her understanding of international military operations while contributing to alliance relationships that served broader strategic objectives requiring cooperation between Allied military forces. Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Johnson, the NATO Training Center commander, recognized Torres' contributions to alliance training capabilities and her effectiveness in working with military personnel from diverse cultural and operational backgrounds. Master Sergeant Torres has made exceptional contributions to NATO training capabilities while demonstrating remarkable effectiveness in working with military personnel from multiple Allied nations, Johnson wrote in Torres' performance evaluation. Her technical expertise and cultural adaptability make her invaluable for international assignments requiring coordination between different national military organizations. The commendation that Torres received for her NATO service reflected recognition of her contributions to alliance capabilities and her effectiveness in international assignments that required cultural sensitivity and professional competence in working with diverse military organizations. But Torres would always remember the Veterans Day Memorial Service when television cameras had inadvertently revealed her exceptional service record and led to recognition that her contributions deserved but had been overlooked during initial ceremony planning. The experience had taught her that exceptional military service would ultimately be acknowledged and valued regardless of administrative oversights or initial assignment decisions that might temporarily prevent appropriate recognition during formal ceremonies and public events. Torres' story became a model for how individual excellence and institutional flexibility could combine to ensure that exceptional military service received appropriate recognition while contributing to improved procedures that would benefit other military personnel whose contributions deserved acknowledgement. The soldier who had been folding flags in the background had instead become a symbol of exceptional military service that exemplified the courage, competence, and dedication that characterized the best of American military personnel serving in challenging operational environments worldwide, proving that true merit would ultimately be recognized regardless of initial assignment decisions or administrative oversights that might temporarily prevent appropriate acknowledgement. The documentary film project that emerged from Torres' story would bring her experience to national attention and demonstrate to American audiences the individual courage and professional competence that enabled military success in challenging operational environments while highlighting the importance of recognizing exceptional service regardless of ceremonial assignment decisions or administrative oversights. The filmmaker, Michael Davis, had been covering the Veterans Day Memorial Service for a documentary about military sacrifice when he captured the footage of Torres' unexpected recognition and realized that her story represented a powerful example of unrecognized military heroism that deserved broader public attention and understanding. Rebecca Torres' story exemplifies the kind of individual courage and professional competence that the American public needs to understand about our military personnel, Davis explained during the film's development. Her willingness to risk her life to recover critical intelligence, combined with the administrative oversight that initially relegated her to ceremonial duties, illustrates both the heroism of individual service members and the challenges of properly recognizing exceptional contributions. The documentary production required extensive interviews with military personnel who had served with Torres during her operational assignments, providing detailed accounts of her courage and competence that helped audiences understand the significance of her contributions to mission success and personnel safety. Colonel Rodriguez, who had commanded the Syrian operation where Torres recovered the drone intelligence, provided detailed testimony about her individual initiative and the strategic importance of the intelligence she had obtained through personal courage and technical expertise under dangerous conditions. Sergeant Torres' recovery of that drone intelligence was absolutely critical to our subsequent operations against the enemy forces responsible for attacking our personnel, Rodriguez explained in his documentary interview. Her willingness to conduct that recovery mission alone, in hostile territory, demonstrated the kind of individual courage and professional competence that characterizes the best of our military personnel. The documentary also included interviews with the families of soldiers who had been killed in the attack that Torres' intelligence had helped avenge, providing emotional context about the human impact of her contributions and the importance of recognizing exceptional service that honored fallen comrades while protecting other military personnel. Mrs. Sarah Johnson, whose son had been killed in the Syrian attack, expressed gratitude for Torres' contributions and emphasized the importance of recognizing personnel whose exceptional service honored the sacrifice of fallen soldiers while contributing to mission success. Knowing that someone like Sergeant Torres risked her life to recover intelligence that helped bring justice for our son's death provides comfort and demonstrates that his sacrifice had meaning, Johnson said in her documentary interview. Her courage and dedication represent the best of our military, and her story deserves to be told. The documentary's premiere at the National Archives attracted senior military officials, veteran organizations, and family members of military personnel who recognized the importance of Torres' story for understanding military service and the individual courage that enabled operational success in challenging environments. General Hayes, who had delivered Torres recognition during the Veterans Day ceremony, attended the premiere and spoke about the broader implications of her story for understanding military service and the importance of recognizing exceptional contributions regardless of administrative oversights. Sergeant Torres' story reminds us that exceptional military service can come from any level of our organization, and that proper recognition of such service is essential for maintaining the values and standards that characterize effective military organizations, Hayes observed during the premiere event. The national broadcast of the documentary on Veterans Day weekend reached millions of viewers and generated widespread appreciation for Torres' service, while raising awareness about the individual courage and professional competence that characterized American military personnel serving in dangerous operational environments worldwide. The viewer response to the documentary included thousands of messages expressing gratitude for Torres' service and recognition of the broader military personnel whose exceptional contributions might not receive appropriate public attention despite their importance for national security and military effectiveness. Torres' selection as Military Times Person of the Year reflected recognition within the military community that her story represented the best of military service and demonstrated the importance of individual initiative and professional competence in accomplishing challenging missions that required personal courage and technical expertise. The Military Times Award ceremony provided additional recognition for Torres while highlighting her continuing contributions to military training and leadership development that utilized her operational experience to benefit other military personnel facing similar challenges in dangerous operational environments. The scholarship program that Torres established for children of military families reflected her commitment to supporting the broader military community while ensuring that the families of military personnel had access to educational opportunities that could provide foundation for successful civilian careers. The Torres Military Family Scholarship Fund became one of the most successful veteran-sponsored educational programs, providing financial assistance for hundreds of military families while demonstrating the commitment of exceptional military personnel to supporting their fellow service members and their families. Dr. Patricia Martinez, who administered the scholarship program, recognized Torres' dedication to supporting military families and her understanding of the challenges faced by personnel whose service required frequent deployments and family separations that could affect educational opportunities for military children. Master Sergeant Torres' scholarship program demonstrates her continued commitment to supporting military families and ensuring that military service doesn't limit educational opportunities for the children of personnel who serve their country, Martinez observed. The program reflects her understanding that military service affects entire families, not just individual service members. The expansion of Torres' scholarship program to include international military families reflected her NATO service experience and recognition that Allied military personnel faced similar challenges in balancing military service with family responsibilities and educational objectives for their children. The International Scholarship Program partnered with educational institutions in Allied countries to provide educational opportunities for children of military families, while strengthening relationships between American and Allied military personnel through shared commitment to supporting military families. The United Nations recognition that Torres received for her international military family support programs acknowledged her contributions to strengthening military alliance relationships while supporting personnel whose service required sacrifice from entire families rather than just individual service members. Torres' appointment to the Defense Advisory Committee on Military Families reflected recognition of her expertise in understanding military family challenges and her demonstrated commitment to developing programs that address the unique needs of personnel whose service required extended deployments and family separations. The committee's recommendations for improving military family support programs incorporated Torres' insights about the challenges faced by military families and the importance of providing comprehensive support that addressed educational, financial, and emotional needs of personnel whose service affected entire families. The Military Family Support Act that incorporated many of the committee's recommendations provided expanded benefits and support programs for military families, while recognizing the broader impact of military service on family members who shared the sacrifices required by military careers and operational deployments. Torres' advocacy for improved military family support continued throughout her senior military career and influenced policy development that benefited thousands of military families, while demonstrating that exceptional military personnel often combined operational excellence with commitment to supporting their fellow service members and their families. The leadership position that Torres achieved as Command Sergeant Major represented the highest level of non-commissioned officer responsibility and reflected recognition of her exceptional military service and demonstrated leadership capabilities that made her valuable for senior positions requiring responsibility for large numbers of military personnel. The ceremony that recognized Torres' promotion to Command Sergeant Major was attended by military leaders who had witnessed her transformation from ceremonial flag folder to recognized expert in operations and training, demonstrating that exceptional military service could lead to advancement regardless of initial assignment decisions or administrative oversights. General Davis, who promoted Torres to Command Sergeant Major, emphasized the significance of her achievement and the importance of her example for other military personnel who might face similar challenges in gaining recognition for their exceptional capabilities and contributions. Command Sergeant Major Torres represents the best of our non-commissioned officer corps. Exceptional operational competence combined with dedication to developing other military personnel and supporting military families, Davis declared during the promotion ceremony. Her advancement demonstrates that our military recognizes and rewards exceptional service regardless of how that service initially comes to our attention. The division that Torres commanded as Command Sergeant Major became known throughout the military for exceptional performance and innovative approaches to training and personnel development that reflected her operational experience and commitment to developing military personnel who could serve effectively in challenging operational environments. The training innovations that Torres implemented emphasized individual initiative, technical competence, and personal courage while ensuring that military personnel understood their responsibilities to fellow service members and the families who shared the sacrifices required by military service and operational deployments. But Torres would never forget the Veterans Day ceremony when television cameras had inadvertently revealed her exceptional service record and led to recognition that transformed her military career while demonstrating the importance of proper acknowledgement for exceptional military service. The experience had taught her that individual excellence and institutional commitment to recognizing merit could combine to ensure that exceptional military service received appropriate acknowledgement while inspiring other personnel to pursue excellence in their own military careers and contributions to national security. Torres' legacy would extend far beyond her individual career achievements to influence military culture, personnel policies, and support programs that would benefit countless military personnel and their families while ensuring that exceptional service received the recognition it deserved regardless of initial assignment decisions or administrative circumstances that might temporarily prevent appropriate acknowledgement of individual courage and professional competence that serve the nation with distinction and honor.